Good morning, everybody. Mushroom Mai Err. I am back today, and today is actually a really chilly day here in Sacramento. So I am so eggplant excited for our recipe today. Perfect time for soup, perfect time for curry. And our recipe today is the Thai pumpkin curry recipe. So don't forget to check out Food Literacy Center for all of the recipes that we are making. You'll find the supply list and the recipe and any other sort of information that you would need to make our recipe. So we are in winter season. Some produce are sort of going out of season, some are coming in, but pumpkin, I think we're still pretty good. So that is our main ingredient for today. Everything else will be add-on. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we go, don't forget, wash your hands, rinse your produce, use our supply list that we have to gather all of the supplies that you need to cook this recipe. Okay, so there are a couple of steps from our instruction that I am skipping for this video. I've already made my rice, it's ready to go. I also roasted my pumpkin as well. So it's right here, ready to go. This step is pretty simple. However, kiddos, you will need an adult to supervise for most of that. So cutting the pumpkin in half, the skin is pretty hard, so you will need a chef knife that will be able to cut through it. You're gonna need somebody to help you turn on the oven and also stuff the pumpkin in. However, you can definitely help out with the spooning out the seeds and the guts inside the pumpkin as well. So you can help out with that part. And then I left it in half, and so that I can spoon it out later on when I start cooking them. Cool. So if you take a look at the recipe, it tells us ways that we can chop the vegetables. So I'm gonna skip a couple of things, and the first vegetables that I saw is the French beans, and it tells me to cut it in half. I have green beans here, so I'm gonna go ahead and chop that. If you have a lot, if you gotta chop a lot, you can put them all together, really easy. Just one slice and you get like 20. You can get 20 of them, so let's do that. They're pretty easy to cut through as well, so if you have a plastic knife, that should work. If you don't have a plastic knife, kiddos, and you still want to work on the green beans, you can use your hands and just break them in half. Really easy. So let me see, I need about a cup. I need a cup of that. So let's see, I think that's enough. That's a pretty good amount. And then the next thing I gotta chop is my bell pepper. Bell pepper, super colorful in curry, yellow, orange, any color that you want. And I'm not sure if this has been shared before, but if you want a sweet bell pepper, look for the 4 lobes. So from what I heard, the one with the 4 lobes, that is a female bell pepper, and the one with 3, that is a male. And generally the one with 4 lobes is a little bit sweeter. So if you want a sweeter one, look for that. And this is also a way to chop your bell pepper that I learned from a friend, is using the lobe. You just cut it straight down so that you actually cut around the guts and the seed of the bell pepper. So let's follow that. Ooh. Of course, not perfect, but it actually does. It helps a lot with avoiding the guts and the seed. So I'm actually gonna break that part off. Break it off and sort of strip down the inside. It's really soft. You could just rip it off and toss it away. So in our recipe, it tells us to cut our bell pepper into strips. I like my vegetables and my curry to be sort of similar size. So what I'm actually gonna do is that I'm gonna cut them into strips, and then I'm also gonna half them so it's sort of the same size like the green beans. So there you go. It's halved, maybe a little bit thinner. So like that. I think that's a pretty good size for me. Again, feel free to, our recipes are made to be deconstructed. So Even if on the recipe it tells you to cut it a certain way, if you prefer it a different way, go ahead, switch it up. If you prefer a different vegetable, switch it up. If you don't like bell pepper, but you like, I don't know, maybe zucchini or squash, switch it up. Okay, so there's that. Again, don't forget to use our claw. Don't forget to use our claw. You can probably use your tunnel for this one too. Let's line them all together, cut it in half. Perfect. This one again. There you go. Oh, maybe a little bit thinner than that. Cut it in half. Bam! There you go. There is my one red bell pepper. It's so colorful already. Okay, what's next? We have our onions, so we're gonna cut it in half. And in our recipe, it told us to quarter it. This is how I would do. I will cut them into wedges, into the size that I want, right? I think we can do our claw for this one. Let's do a claw, okay. Kind of like a 1-inch wedge. Now I'm gonna use my tunnel. Okay, and you put it all together and you just slice them. I think I might want them a little bit smaller, so I'm actually gonna do it 3. There's that. Still using a claw. Okay. Bam. Beautiful. Section them off. Okay. And then there is our cilantro. So I love cilantro. If you don't already know, I think I said it a couple of times. So I'm gonna use a little extra, more than a small handful. Okay, there you go. And again, we could just use our hand and rip it. So kiddos, I believe you got this part. Make a nice little pile. I love cilantro. I like the stem, so I'm gonna use the stem as well. If anything, I think the stem adds a lot more flavor to the dish. So here I have my section of, and our cilantro is going to be the last thing that we are going to add, so I'm actually going to try to separate it so I remember not to throw it all in together. And then we have our basil leaf, which I already tore it up. It's ready to go. And I think the last thing is our pepper. So our recipe calls for 2. These Thai chili pepper are pretty spicy. I usually, if you like spicy, you can throw in more. And I'm just gonna chop them in half. Kids, be very careful with your hand. It might burn a little bit after, so if you are afraid of that, use a glove or have an adult help you out with that. And I'm just gonna cut them. And you might need, you're gonna need an actual chef knife for this, because if you use a plastic knife, it might just mush up the pepper, which if that's what you like, hey, go for it. All right, and I think we are ready to go. So I'm actually gonna turn off, I have my induction burner here. I have a pot. You just want a pot that is deep enough to hold all of the liquid and all of the vegetables that you're gonna throw in there. So we're gonna need to read a recipe for this. I need some extra instruction for this. All right, so medium heat, let's turn it on. 5, and I think we're adding the curry paste first. Okay. Ooh. Here we go. All right, leave it at 5. Uh-oh. Is this working? Might not be working, y'all. I might have to use an actual stove. Yes, so I'm gonna move this over to a stove. You're gonna see me walk in and out, but that is okay. I'll try to speak a little bit louder so that you all can hear me over here. All right, turn it on. Again, kiddo, we need an adult to supervise for this part, okay? So, first thing we gotta do is we are going to pour our red curry paste. I actually just found yellow, so it might not be as red as I would like for it to be, but it'll work. It's curry. Okay, let's like add curry, paste to the pan, mix it with oil. So I also need some oil. And you want to use a wooden spoon so that it doesn't get stuck. So when you want to make curry, think about what kind of vegetable is in season. What do you like in your curry? Let us know. Share below. I would love to know what else you add into your curry. Okay, I actually need a smaller spoon to also scoop out these as well. All right. Now, stir them together, mix it up until fragrant. Sometimes some smell might be really strong to you, so don't be too close to it. Don't smell it all in. You don't want to start coughing because the spice is too strong, which I've definitely done that. Okay, spoon off a thick layer of the coconut milk. So here's my coconut milk. And you just want to slowly add this into your pot. So don't pour it all in at the same time. Just slowly add it so that it slowly mixes it into your pot. Okay. Oh, it looks so good. It smells so good. And I believe we are using the whole can. Let's take a look. 1 15-ounce can. Yep, this is our whole 15-ounce can. Okay, so that's gonna heat up. Again, medium heat. And kids, I think you can start helping out on this part. You just, if you need a stool, just use a stool and stand. Make sure you can see what's actually inside the pot and use a wooden spoon and just help stir out. It's really fun. This part is really fun. Whenever I cook with kids and they get to stir anything that is cooking, they always have so much fun. You just gotta be careful. Make sure your hand is not close to the pot. I'm using a stainless steel pot, so if you touch it, it's gonna be really hot. It's gonna burn. So just make sure your hand is above the pot. All right. Looking good. And we're gonna let that stir for a little bit. Okay. Let it heat up a little bit, mix it together, pour in the rest of the milk. We did that. Keep stirring until the paste is mixed together. So give it about a minute or two so that they can mix up together. Okay, and now we are going to add 1/4 of a cup of water. So I have a bowl of water right here. I have my 1/4 of a cup. I'm gonna measure that out. I'm gonna bring it over to our pot. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, and we're gonna add that along with all of the sauce. So our chili pepper, a little chili right here. Pour it in. Again, you wanna stay away from the pot for that part because when the spice starts to cook up, it's gonna go up into the air, and if you smell that, you might want to stay away from that. So our pepper, our fish sauce, and our sugar. So I'm gonna use my hand, just grab that. Make sure I get all of that. Sprinkle it over, sprinkle, and here's our fish sauce. You can find any of these at the store. This is the brand that I like to use. What is it? How much fish sauce are we using? 1 tablespoon. Let's look for where's my tablespoon? Uh-oh. It's gone. Well, you know what? We can just eyeball it. And I have kind of like a little bit bigger, but let's just use that. Pour it over and throw it in. All right. Now I need 1 teaspoon of raw sugar. So again, I cannot find my measuring spoon, so I'm gonna use this. We just use water in it, and I'm just gonna fill up a little bit at the bottom for 1 teaspoon. Sprinkle it in, sprinkle it in. Enjoy that smell. Okay, now we're gonna spoon out our pumpkin. This is the fun part. I'm actually just gonna use a half of my pumpkin because it was actually a pretty big pumpkin. And you wanna use a metal spoon, something that has thinner edges so that you can actually spoon through your squash. Whatever size you want. So look at that. How nice. And if you want your squash to be in cubes or into like, you know, different sizes that are not made out of a spoon, you can use a peeler to peel off the skin of your pumpkin so that you can chop. You can actually chop your pumpkin. So I'm gonna spoon it all inside of it. Make sure I get all the meat. Ooh, especially on the edges. All right, and you can use, I would say you can use almost pretty much any type of pumpkin or squash. Just make sure that when you cook it, it has enough meat in there to throw into your curry. All right. Whee! Fun. Might chop it up a little bit in here too. Here you go. All right, I got a nice bowl of pumpkin there, and we're gonna go ahead and I think it's ready to go. Put in all of the other veggies. So this goes in first, and everything else goes in right after. All right. Ooh, fun, fun. All right. Stir it up again. Stir it up, and let's go ahead and add the rest of our vegetables in here. Ooh. Another important thing with keeping our vegetables the same size is that you want them to cook at the same time. Some of them might take a little bit longer just because of the texture, but if you have a really big slice of bell pepper and really tiny green beans, then they might be cooking at different times, so you'll have like a really different texture. But if you throw it all in at the same time and cook them at the same size, they'll cook together. Okay, vegetables are in. Ooh, it looks so colorful, so beautiful. All right, and we're gonna let that cook for a little bit until it's crisp or until your vegetable are softened up a little bit. And I think the last thing we'll add is just the cilantro. So again, kiddos, just keep on stirring. You can also start cleaning up right now, help clean up. Oh, you know, I forgot my basil, really important. I'm gonna throw it all in because basil is it's a really strong, it has a really strong taste, and it really adds on to this recipe. So, ooh, I feel like I can smell all of the different ingredients in here. I can smell this fish sauce, I can smell the basil, of course the red curry paste. Okay, so it's cooking, and I think it's time to throw in our cilantro. Add that in. Very colorful. Whenever I make soup or curry, again, going back to the color of the vegetable, I also love colors when I cook, and so having a red bell pepper or maybe a green bell pepper. Actually, maybe switch out the green bell pepper because you already have some other greens. So if you want red, if you want orange, choose different colors so that you have a really colorful curry. All right, I think it's ready. It smells ready. So let's go ahead and turn off Actually, I'm gonna leave it so that it cooks a little bit more, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a taste. So again, I have my rice all cooked, all ready to go, and we just need to pour some curry in here. Try to get all of the vegetable. Try to get as much vegetable as you can. Realize my wooden spoon won't work to scoop out the stuff, so I need this spoon. Alright, I think that's good. And I'm gonna turn it off. And I have my spoon right here. Oh, look at that smoke coming out. Look at that. It's green, it's yellow, there's the red is orange now. And let's give it a try. I'm gonna get me a spoon of the basil because I love the basil too. This is so good. So good for today's weather. Perfect. Again, if you want to find our recipe, check out foodliteracycenter.org. So many recipes. There's also other videos there as well. And don't forget to shop local. Find, local farmers market or go to a local store to get your ingredients. Get fruits and veggies that are in season so that it will go really well with your pumpkin curry. So again, thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope you have a watermelon wonderful day. Bye.